Hello, and welcome to Making Sense of It. I'm Mona Duncan, your moderator, and we present concepts from Dr. William Glasser through the Glasser Institute for Choice Theory. And our speaker for today is Wendall Walker. And Wendall's going to be teaching us about alcoholism as a disease from the perspective of Dr. William Glasser. So welcome to everyone. It's good to see you. And I see Tyru just checked in. She's from India. I've been working with her lately, and it's just a delight. It's odd hours for her to make this commitment. So Wendall, I'm going to give it to you.
All right. Mona, you said there would be a round of applause from everybody. Thank you, Dutch. Dutch may be the originator. He does that so well.
Wendall is a jokester.
Well, just quickly, I'm in the St. Petersburg, Florida for about 23 years. I was in Atlanta, and I had done I got certified in 1983 in Los Angeles, and then became a practicum supervisor, then a basic week instructor, then an advanced week instructor, senior faculty, and did about 100 of what we used to call the intensive weeks of training over the years, including cert weeks. And then I got down here in Florida, and I was doing so much tennis, I was letting a lot of my RT-CT Glasser stuff kind of be on the back burner. I would attend some of the Zoom meetings and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm pumped up now, and I'm reconnecting, as I'm calling it. And this is an easy gig for me. What I've done, the whole topic of alcoholism as a disease. Look at this, Mona, the guru of Zoom things in my mind. I think that, look at this handout I put together following Dr. Glasser's talk on this subject in August of 1988. And here's my thinking on this, that through the years when Glasser would do training, a day-long program, he was doing probably 30 to 40 of them a year at one time, a couple of months. Reality therapy had been so effective in the drug and alcohol substance abuse fields that it was very popular. But then inevitably, people would say to Dr. Glasser, excuse me, do you think alcoholism is a disease? Because that was one of the core principles of treatment among those skilled in that area. And I think in my mind that he avoided saying that because he was such an oppositionalist. Is that a word? I just made that up, I think. He was an oppositionalist to the traditional thing of, especially in the psychiatric community, of labeling people with diseases, especially the psychiatric kind of diseases. And so he would hesitate. I think I remember him saying one time when I sponsored him in Atlanta, he says, well, do you all operate on the disease model in your program? And the person said, yes, we do. And he says, how's that working? And she said, very well. He says, well, I support that. So a way of being positive and affirming to the person without making your own absolute statement. We see a lot of that today among politicians. So anyway, I think he kind of avoided it. But then he did some thinking about it and then decided, yes, it is a disease. But you can read the second line. It is a disease, but it's a special kind of disease. And on the original video, I may have that somewhere. On the original video, he shows a chair right next to him where he's sitting. He says, does everybody know what this is? Yeah, this is a chair. Okay. Is it the only kind of chair? No. He says there may be 1,000 objects in the world designed differently that we would all identify as chairs. And so they're different kind of chairs and that sort of thing. And then he goes on then to develop a continuum of diseases. And we're ready for that, Mona, that continuum. Back to the overview. There you go. So in this continuum in the handout, we're going to see more details later. At one end of the continuum is the individual has no disease. Well, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to read quickly from my Google entry here. A definition of disease. I wasn't sure that I could kind of say it myself. A disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant. Interesting. Especially one that produces specific signs or symptoms or affects a specific location in the entity, and is not simply a direct result of a physical injury. It occurs to me, but not because of an injury. Bacterial meningitis is a rare disease. So that makes sense, okay? And one of the things I might ask you to do, if you've got some scratch paper, start writing, just scribbling down examples of different diseases. That's the names of them, because I'll come back to you later. Later. But so anyway, at one end of the continuum, one is no disease, and the person's current health, they're in more effective control. And at the right end of the continuum is disease, where we're currently in less effective control. And then no disease, person's health is going well. At the far end, the maximum disease, I'm not familiar with it, but Glasser used the term Huntington's chorea. And I guess at least at that time, it was 100% fatal. And there may be some other diseases that are 100% fatal. See if you can think about that on your own too. Or do any of those catch you right now that are 100% fatal, and there's this, you can do stuff, but there's no cure? All right, be thinking about that. I don't know. We make such progress as we go along. Sometimes they go ahead.
State the question.
Yes, besides this Huntington's chorea being 100% fatal, there may be, I'm asking currently, Jim, this is Jim Soder from North Carolina. I'm asking about other diseases that may be 100% fatal. Is nothing we can do about it. So anything that pops into your mind, jump in on that. So then Glasser starts coming backwards from that. And let's go to we'll go to the category 2, skin cancer, exposure to the sun. I've had a couple places where they cut a little something out of my arm and took a little thing over here, because as a youngster, I didn't do a good job of sun protection, and I'm out in the sun all the time with tennis. So I'm susceptible to some of these precancerous things, and every so often they do a biopsy. And if a person, it's possible that a person could get some form of skin cancer, and then that become, fatal for them. But there's a lot of, that's right, early catching of it. My coach is here. Catch it early, There's creams. There's I did blue light treatment. They freeze some of the spots, and that takes care of them. They do a biopsy. They sew it up. They maybe cut a little bit out if it's there. But here's the thing, Glasser says, how do we get too much sun? Well, we choose to go into the sun. We could choose never to. That's not that likely, even just getting out, going shopping, walking out to the car. But it's a disease that's 100% avoidable. I'm ignorant about this, but I don't. There may be a genetic predisposition to be susceptible to it, but then I have 100% control over exposing myself to the conditions on that too. So there's a whole lot you can do over that, and people may or may not. Okay, let's go over to another arbitrary category of diseases, heart disease. We hear regularly the number of people that die yearly from heart diseases, and there are a number of different types of things. Okay. But many people survive. People have stents put in. They have, isn't it amazing? I hear stories all the time. Somebody's rushed to the hospital, and while they're there, they immediately go in and they discover a clogged up, vessel or artery, and then stents in, and the person's released, and then they're out walking the next day. And they go along for the longest time, And then we have medicine to reduce the cholesterol or try to reduce it or prevent it, that sort of thing. But there's some of the heart disease things that would be no control over. I had an aortic valve replaced 9 years ago in open heart surgery. A friend of mine had the same thing done a year ago, and they went in through the groin area and went up and replaced the aortic valve. And he was walking 2 days later. And it's just phenomenal what can be done. But there's a lot you can do there, but it takes its time. It's toll with people. We see down at the bottom, diet change, exercise, medicine, those kind of things too. Then Glasser moves on to a category 4 kind of a thing, something like stomach cancer, high fatality rate, slim chance of recovery, very little you can do, but you can do some things, and some end up helping people. I don't know if a person might say, well, there's about an 80% chance, or that it'll be fatal, or 20% chance that you get through. Some do and some don't. So we can take our chances and people decide. I got, like a lot of older men, I guess it's pretty common. I had a diagnosis of prostate cancer. They took 12 biopsies and 4 of them were positive. So it was as I call it, a milder case. And I had laser treatment. It was interesting. I went in 43 weekdays straight for laser treatment. I'd go in at 8 in the morning, prepare, get ready. They'd treat me. I'd get dressed again. I'd walk out at 8:15 and take tennis at 8:30. But that got rid of the cancer in that little area. And then I get tested every so often, and that's clear. But there wasn't, and it's interesting on the prostate. One of the standard sayings is, if you're 70, 75 years old, you say, well, you may not want to do surgery or do anything because something else may kill you before the prostate. So it's a little humor from the medical side anyway. I think that's probably pretty accurate too. But with stomach cancer, high fatality rates, that sort of thing. And then we saw the category at the right end, whatever the disease is, it's 100% fatal. All right, so I had asked earlier, Jim and others, if you would, if you on some scratch paper, get some other diseases that we hear, that we know people have, that we hear advertisements on television for treatment. What are other diseases that people may get or have gotten? We don't have to particularly disclose personally, but so let me hear from some of you, just other diseases and where you think they fall.
Spongiform encephalopathies.
Oh my gosh. And where does that?
Spongiform encephalopathies.
All right, where does that fall there, Jim? In the
No
middle?
cure.
Huh?
No cure.
No cure. Okay. Oh, that's over there. Wow. If you could type that out for us. There will not be a quiz, everybody. So we're not going to panic on that. So what are some other diseases? I mean, diabetes, and we see all kinds of medications. We see medications that override and are more effective than medications from the past. And of course, diabetes, a big thing is lifestyle changes, this eating, exercise, what have you. What are some other diseases that people get, and where on the continuum would you think they fall? Go, Alice, you got something? Or were you just twitch? Was that a twitch? All right. Well, I mean, if we saw a list of diseases, there probably would be 100 of them. And we have all sorts of coronary. We have whatever, and then the rare ones too. Okay, since we're not flooding in with different ones, the main thing is starting to think about different diseases and to what extent we have control over them or not have control over some part of it too. So now this is before some of your time. This is the $64 question. Oh no, $64,000 question. Television show from way back. And where on the continuum? Oh, not yet, Mona. Oh yeah, no. All right. Where on the continuum do you think alcohol fits? Alcoholism. Hello. Hey, no penalty for guessing wrong.
Where on the continuum is alcoholism?
Yeah, that Glasser would put it. Is it 100% fatal? Everybody shake their head like this.
I think it is 100% fatal if it goes untreated.
Oh, you said if.
If untreated.
Yeah, knock him out. Yeah, it can be. Certainly can be.
Okay.
Lots of people die every year from alcoholism related. Part of the problem there too is it may be a car wreck, it may be an altercation with other people, it may be falling and with head damage, all kind of stuff. It can be. All right, just on your own. You don't have to publicly say anything. I like to use the phrase because when you're asking people to say something, if you're like me, I take my chances. A lot of people don't say, well, I think is it yes or no? I think it's no. Wrong. They don't want to get it wrong publicly. And so even if we have an opinion, we kind of hold off. So I always joke and I say, listen, no penalty for guessing wrong. Jump out there. But anyway, here's the deal, and Mona's going to put it up on the continuum now. Alcoholism, Glasser puts in this category too. And so look at there. Somebody heard Jim speak and wrote it right in there. Alcoholism will likely kill you if you continue to drink. Need deaths? It's not 100% fatal. And Glasser says it is virtually 100% control if you can learn how to. Maybe stop drinking, whatever, not easy. And every person, there are people that go in and out of treatment programs and start in and out of AA many times, okay? But there are millions of recovering alcoholics. A lot of the colleagues among the Glasser fans, a number of them at times will speak of their own recovery and sobriety time, okay? And so you see the last statement there, 100% tied to how we choose to live our life. And then of course, we've got AA programs, the AA programs and the Serenity Prayer. We all know and see kind of regularly the Serenity Prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And this is one of the key things in reality therapy is, saying, well, do you have control over that? Wendall, I know this is making your life difficult. You wish that Jeremy would change, but do you have control over that? What are you going to do if he doesn't change? What in this whole situation? What do you have control over? And so we're moving in that direction, and that's why reality therapy is just it's synonymous with the Serenity Prayer, and wonderfully compatible with 12-step program too.
Thank you, Wendell. That was really very meaningful.
All right, so maybe that's kind of the initial presentation, and so we move into what now, Mona, into kind of an open discussion.
And we will, but we're going to close the airways, and then those that are here present can ask questions and make comments. In the meantime, thank you very much for being here, and good mental health.